So we've looked at a few words, adjectives, actually, some of which we use like adjectives now, and some of which we actually use like verbs. So we saw some names which also behave like adjectives. For example, we saw the name Karim, which means
generous.
generous. Good. And what are the root sounds that have something to do with generosity?
Ka, ra, ma.
Good. Ka-ra-ma. Good. So in Karim, we have root sounds, ka-ra-ma, and we also have a pattern, which we put these root sounds into. Karim. This is the pattern of the word. Amin, for honest, had the same pattern. This word only has two roots, but we see it's the same pattern. Karim, Amin. In the same way, these adjective versions of the verbs that we were using also had roots and a pattern to them. So, for example, the word for going, what was the first sound of the word for going?
Ra.
Ra. Does that help you remember the rest of the word? Just remembering the first sound?
Yeah. Raya.
Raya. Good. And what were the root sounds?
Ra, ya, ha.
Good. The ra, ya, ha were the three root sounds there. We also had seeing. What was that? If you don't remember it, try to think just of the first sound.
Sh. Shayif.
Shayif. Very good. And what are the roots there?
Sh, ya, fa.
Good. And we had the word for coming.
Gay.
Good. And the roots?
Ge, ya, ya.
Good. So here also we have a pattern. No, we have the root sounds we can identify, and then we have a pattern that we can identify. Shayif, rayeh. So here we have a long a, no, shayif, rayeh. And then we have a small vowel on the end. Now with rayeh it sounds more like an e, and with shayif it sounds more like an i. But that doesn't matter, we don't write it. We don't write that small vowel. It's much more subject to change, but it's still the same pattern. And as I mentioned, even gay is the same pattern. It was probably gay, something like this. And of course, y, this all blended and stuck together to produce gay. The word for not in Arabic is mish.
Mish.
Mish. And as I mentioned, these short vowels are more subject to change, so you might hear mush, meaning not. So how would you say I or I am? We don't have any am, do we?
No.
Not going. I'm not going.
Ana mish gay.
That's I'm not coming.
Ana mish rayah.
Very good. أنا مش رايح. And if you were female?
Ana mish rayha.
Very good. أنا مش رايحة. How would you say I don't see or I can't see? Can be used like that as well. I don't see, I can't see.
Ana mish shayif.
Very good. أنا مش شايف. And for feminine it would be?
Ana mish shayfa.
أنا مش شايفة. Very good. The word for you is أنت. أنت.
Anta.
Good. You might hear inter, you might hear under. It might sound more like an E to you, it might sound more like an I. These kind of changes, you can expect them. Inter, enter.
Anta.
Good. How would you say you are going?
Anta rayah.
Enter rayeh. Now, make that a question. All you have to do to make that a question in Arabic is to make it sound like a question with your voice.
Anta rayah.
Enter rayeh. Good. How would you say are you coming?
Anta gay.
Enter gay. Good. How would you say you're not coming?
Anta mish gay.
Enter mish gay. How would you say aren't you coming?
Anta mish gay.
Very good. Enter mish gay. How would you say don't you see, can't you see, don't you see?
Anta mish shayif.
Very good. So enter is you talking to a male. The female version is enti. So we get enter and enti.
Anti.
Enti. So enti for female. So if you want to say to a female, can you see, do you see? How would you do that?
Anti shayfa.
Very good. Enti shayfa. And don't you see, can't you see? Still to female.
Anti mish shayfa.
Very good. Enti mish shayfa. How would you say, speaking to a female, Aren't you coming? Aren't you coming?
Enti gay. Aren't you coming? Enti mishkeya?
Very good. Enti mishkeya? The word for where in Arabic, or in Egyptian Arabic, is fein.
Fan.
Fein. And the most usual position for fein, most of the time, is actually at the end of the sentence. No? So rather than saying, where are you going? You would say, you are going where? So how would you say that speaking to a male? So what is the word for you speaking to a male?
Enta.
Enter. So let's ask a male, where are you going?
Enta rayech fan.
Very good. Enter رايح فين?
Enta rayech fan.
Good. And to a female?
Enti rayech fan. Enti raycha fan.
Very good. Enti رايحة فين? Now having the question word towards the end is actually a feature quite specifically of Egyptian Arabic, and maybe some other dialects have that as well. It's nice to see it because it's nice to have an exposure to the kind of things that might change between dialects. So in Egyptian, we have this habit of sticking the question word most of the time towards the end of the sentence.